Hello everyone. Today we will discuss about finite automata. We have already covered some lectures of compiler designing series. Now we will discuss about finite automata. We will discuss here in a small amount of finite automata because this is a very huge topics and we will discuss in a further series of finite automata. So now for a small knowledge we can know that we need to know that what is finite automata. A stylized flowchart, that means this diagram looks like flowchart. Here is a flow, and transition diagram is called a finite automata. This is the transition diagram, which consists a finite set of state denoted by circles. So those are the state. Here are three states with 0 to 2 countation, and a set of transitions from one state to another state denotes by the edges. So those are the edges. From this diagram we can easily say that here is the start symbol and here is the state. Those states are changed for different letters and digits input. So this is the basic idea of a finite automata, which is called an FA section. Here are the two types of finite automata. One is non-deterministic finite automata, which is NFA, and another is deterministic finite automata, which is DFA. So in the NFA, here are 5 tuples. A transition diagram consists of a set of state, which is S, a set of input symbol. Few transition from one state to another state, a string of state, which is S0 or start state, and then the final state, which is F. In this diagram, the starting state S0 is 0 and the final state is number 2. And here are the transactions from 0 to 1, 1 to 2. Here are some input alphabets, we will see this later. And here is also a set of state which is known as S. So those are the 5 tuples of NFA. Now here are the notes. Have attention. In this transaction we have epsilon transaction. That means we can have a free transaction without giving any input. Now here we can see this diagram that here is a transaction for epsilon state and more transactions on one input from a single state. Because we are in the 3, if we have A, we can divert it into 3, but if we got B, then we can do nothing. Or if it is a pure NFA, for this B we can also have an instruction. Consider this regular expression: A closer, B closer. We already have the what is closer. From this start symbol, it starts with the 0 state, and for this epsilon it creates a transaction to the 1, and for A it creates another transaction, and more A, it will recall it into this state 3, which is the function of A closer. And then the B closer, here is a transaction of first B, and for the B closer it is the second function. If more and more B comes, it will stay in the same state, which is state 4. This is the diagram for NFA. Now moving on next, here we have another expression. Here we can see that we have an expression which is AB, the whole closer. That means we start from the start symbol and the first state is 0, and if we have the A input, then we will transact it into the 0 position, and if we have B, then it will return into the 0 position. And after that, if the B comes, it will go to the final state. So this is also an NFA diagram. Now algorithms. Here input is a regular expression over which is denoted as the summation symbol, and the output of NFA diagram. Here are the diagrams for epsilon state of NFA. From this NFA we can see that we have a transaction for this epsilon, and for now we have an summation symbol which is consist of A, as an important input symbol which transfer from I state to the final state F with input of A. And moving on, next we can have the regular expression S or T. We can build an NFA like as this diagram. First we need to with the start symbol and go to the first state. Then we will have an epsilon transaction in both sides, which by we can go to the M state or the N state. Now from M state the S input will give us the M state, and from the N state the T input will let go us to the N state. For the epsilon we can have more transaction from N to the final state and from the N to the final state, which is also an epsilon. So we can go by this way and also can go by this way. So this is S or N S or T expression. This is the diagram of S by or S or T, which is an NFA. This is an important diagram for our exam. Now moving on to the next. For regular expression ST, the previous one was S or T. Now this one is the ST. That means we have S here and also T here. So this diagram will look like this. From the start diagram we first will go to the I section, and moving on to the next, for the S input we will move to the next state M, and for the T we will move to the final state F. So this is the ST NFA. Now here is the S closure. We already know what is the closure means. Closure means